So that
So
was
you
my handicap.
with playing both systems, then what do you think's better?
The new system, and I found I was always 2 shots lower on the new system.
2 shots lower.
Yeah, so it's better for your ego, but is it better in real life? Do you know what I mean?
Well, when you're on the professional ranks like me and Sean, it doesn't matter now.
Yeah, there you go, and that's what we'll get to now. How did we get to that point? So obviously in your amateur days, we ranked as amateurs. What was your lowest ranking as an amateur?
Can I go first, and then we can just leave it up to Sean to say?
Let's do it. Yeah.
So I got to about 1,000 in the world, which is nothing. It's not very good. And then go on, Sean. Tell everyone. Come on.
I got to 52nd in the world.
52nd.
Last year. Thanks, Mark. Thank you very much.
Wow.
That's good, that though.
So how did that come about? Then obviously you don't just become 52nd in the world. You must have won some big tournaments, or you must have been playing in the tournaments that get you ranked. So talk us through that a bit, Sean. How did that go?
Yeah, well, I played probably the biggest sort of amateur tournament you can play in, apart from USAM, I think, was the only one I never got to play. But I had a few good results in top events. Sort of British Am was like the noticeable one, really.
Wow, British Am. What's his? Sorry to interrupt. What's John Rahm? Do you know John Rahm?
I know him. Yeah.
Who's he?
Come on, Sean. Tell the story. Come on. Come on.
We love a story. Come on, Sean.
Come on, Sean. Let's hear it.
Well, like my breakaway year, really, where I sort of broke into the squad was I was at Portrush for British Am. Got the course record at Port Stewart to qualify.
Sorry. Carry on.
And then I think it was last 32, I beat a young man called John Rahm 3-1.
A young man.
Oh, a young John Rahm.
But it was only a few months later when he finished 4th as an amateur, I think it was, in the Phoenix Waste Management, that I realised who he was. And I looked back and I was like, bloody hell, I played him 3 months ago.
Play him?
Well, I beat him. Yeah.
So obviously seeing where he is now, then obviously being to world number 1, and you've beat the world number 1 golfer. Obviously not now, but it's on your record as a win. So do you not look at that and think, like, I could get to that position?
Yeah, for certain. It's not just because of that. You just got to. If I'm going to play, I've got to believe that. I've got to believe that I can get as high up as I can in those rankings and do as well as I can. But
all have to love with it, can't you, as well?
Yeah, 100%. Like if you're at maybe that's the reason I'm still playing golf now, is because I wasn't right at the top level of amateur golf. I did it for fun. I loved it, and I still will love it. And if I wasn't a professional golfer, I would still go out and hack a golf ball around the field quite happily. But these boys that were at the top of their game were sort of in the 1%, and then when you turn pro, it's kind of just like boom, like what the fuck, you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. If it all gets a bit serious, a bit soon, like you're getting 14 and you're getting sponsors thrown at you, and you're made to practice and you're made to do this, then it takes the fun out of it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
straight away.
100%. Like, I won't say names, but there's guys that I'm playing with week in, week out who've won British Amateur Championships and stuff like that, and you can just see that they do not like the game anymore. They hate it.
Yeah.
So you just want to go, why do you still do it? Like, you can see you're not enjoying it.
So for how long have you been a professional for now then, Tom?
Oh, geez, way too long. 12 years, I think.
12. So when did you get to the point where you thought, from an amateur, obviously you'd done all you could as an amateur, you'd played the tournaments, you'd done, when did you get to that point where you thought, I'm going to try it out in the professional now? And
it's kind of it was weird you said that. Like, I was actually thinking about this about 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, and I turned pro I was stupid. At the time, I didn't think I was, but looking back at it now, if I saw myself back then, I would just say to myself, what the fuck are you doing, you idiot? Like, I think I was maybe in second year at uni, I think it was. I had a company willing to sponsor me. I was very naive, very immature. And if I'm truly honest, thought I was way better than I actually was.
You're not, when you turn pro after that, you're not really thinking of making any money by playing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it depends. I always look at Ian Poulter's story when he turned pro at 4, and look at him ride the cup and winning all sorts. You know what I mean?
There's also ways to look at it as well. I mean, you can play amateur for a long period of time, get to +4, +5, and like previous lads have said, you're playing a certain standard of course when you're at that level, and then when you go into the professional ranks, it completely flips on its head. You're playing more of a Parklandy type courses, and you there's more birdies that are needed out there. This is just going off previous conversations we've had. So when you're turning professional off of scratch, I think sometimes it can benefit you, because as I say, your expectations mightn't be as high because there's lads that you're playing against who are +4, +5. It maybe takes a bit of pressure off you, so you can go and have a bit of freedom. Did you find that when you turn professional, or was there still those added pressures?
No, exactly that, really. I literally turned pro. I thought I'm going to start coaching. I might play a little bit, but it was more about doing my PGA and starting to coach and things. I ended up playing, like, you have to play a certain amount of events when you turn pro. So the first year that I turned pro, I think my first event was at Lancaster Golf Club.
Yeah,
just like a PGA regional one. So I've gone there with absolutely no expectation at all. I put a little bit of practice in before it, but nothing that I would like kind of think that was going to play well. And I think I've shot level par. It's like, sort of solid knock, but it was quite windy on the day, to be fair. And I think I managed to pick up a little bit of money.
Yeah.
In whatever people shot. I don't think that there was any really low scores. So I was like, that's like a surprise. Don't know how much it was. Don't think it was that much, but it was like, oh, all right, fair enough. And I just carried on playing them, and I did all right. Like, again, no expectation, just going to playing dead freely, like, which is the secret, isn't it? I think.
Yeah,
turning up to play freely, And just ended up doing all right. Like, won a bit of dough, and I was thinking, oh, I can carry on doing this every week, like, on top of my wages. Just one day out of work, go and play, and then I got the bug. Then
I had to go to the physio to get a bit of one of these rehydrations. She was like, "You do know you're playing with him in this?" I said, "Oh, man." But it was great. We had a great laugh. And he had his photo with him and all the rest. So they were delighted. They walked around.
Of course.
Second round, they walked around with him, and he's, as you know, he's a friendly guy. He was good. We had a great week out there. But I've seen him. I saw him at Morocco actually come over, because obviously I was struggling with my hand. He come over asking me how I was getting on and whatever. But
nice stuff.
He's some character. He is. He's another one who doesn't swing it normal.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned there about obviously the European Seniors Tour and the success you've had on there. So just talk us through the build up to that. Obviously, how that come about, because I understand you just missed out in 2017 in a playoff, didn't you? And then obviously 2018 is when you get your card. So because obviously recently you're seeing now, aren't you? Phil Mickelson's trying it out on the Tour Champions, and he's 2 for 2 on that. But then when he goes back onto the normal tours, he seems to be struggling. So just talk us through the differences, between like and what you found going into the European Seniors Tour. Now that's
I mean, I through my 40s, I was still doing all right in the region and but I was playing quite a lot of the 1836, and a lot of the lads then were in it further than me. Funny enough, I played quite a lot with Marcus Armitage on it, and I was still doing all right. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a go at this. And so I had a chat with Simon Edwards and just said, look, can we do something proper? Because we used to ring together and play against each other all the time. But if I was struggling, I'd say, just have a look at this. He'd give me 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, but nothing official, we never actually arranged for me to go and see him to have a lesson or anything. I just said, look, if I'm going to have a go at this seniors, I want to have a proper go.
Yeah.
So he put a plan together, as Simon does, and I went with it because I had every confidence in what he was telling me. Although it was a little bit of a change of swing and what have you, but obviously it's proved like the things he had in mind have worked. We worked very hard through that winter off season, ready for first go at school, and probably a little bit I'd say naively, I don't know, maybe it was just overconfident. But I did think that if I play like I'm playing, I'll get my card.
Yeah.
But it's only when you sort of get there you realise actually 5 cards is really pretty tough. I don't think there's any other tour school. Perhaps there may be. I could be wrong there, but 5 seemed, when you suddenly see how many people are there, and I had to again pre-qualify and then final qualify.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, losing in a playoff was the lowest point ever.
Was
to
it?
a point where, I mean, I can't really put it into words, to be honest with you. It's just a real horrible thing. And the worst thing probably was all the text messages and what have you, all commiserating and quite a lot congratulating, because sort of great performance, even though this, that, and the other. But a lot of people hadn't realised that I wouldn't get any starts. A lot of people assumed that, you'll definitely get some events.
Yeah.
Which would have been a lot easier to take, but
Yeah.
they were the rules that were set out before we entered, and I knew that. I knew there was 5 cards, and that was it.
But you were in a playoff for the last spot.
Yes, there was 3 of us for the last spot. I bogeyed the last
Nice,
one for it. I needed part of the last to get my card, and I bogeyed it. And anyway, Jean-Pierre Salat rolled this ridiculous curly putt on the first playoff hole, and that was the end of that type thing. And although I hit good shots, I didn't feel like I gassed it. I didn't feel like the bottle went, but it was just one of those things. It wasn't meant to be, and he made a good birdie, and that was that. And I had to sort of get back up and have another go at the region and bits and bobs. And I've gone out of it. I've got to be honest.
Did it really just knock your confidence and everything? That did it then, yeah.
I didn't really. I just started playing awful, and Andy Duncan who was running Lancashire PGA. He said to me, late July, we've got you back now. I won something, I think, in July, late July, and he said it took you this long to be like yourself at an event, and have the crack and take the mickey and all the rest, which is what I normally do, and said, you've just not been the same. I said, well, you're not aware of it, are you? I certainly wasn't. But by the end of that summer, with the prospect of not a lot of golf coming up, and having not really had a very good year at all, I went working for UPS. Just sort of stick the clubs in the cupboard, and we'll leave it at that. And it was my wife that made me go.
You were going to quit golf, was you, at that point?
I don't know if I was going to quit. I don't know if I was going to quit. But
Yeah.
I certainly wasn't having another go. But because I felt like I didn't feel like I could justify spending the money to have another go.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but did you almost feel like you were there in 2017, and then
I did.
Then you bogeyed it, then you've lost in the playoff, and then you've took it, haven't you? You've like, do you know what I mean?
I did, and I remember vividly every event watching the scores. And I'll hold my hand up. And I know John, who won the playoff, but I watched his score at every event.
But you golfed, didn't they?
No, like kicking the arse from the student union. No, it didn't help us at all. And like, so you're missing lectures. Your assignments are getting in late, half-hearted. And, it wasn't. So it's a bit of a regret in many ways.
Mate, I said in one of the first episodes, didn't I, Loco, where I said Myerscough is literally a runway to be a professional golfer.
100%.
Put your fucking blinkers on.
It's a better platform to be a PGA pro or tour pro certainly than what the PGA offer through the PGA degree and working at a golf club. And you had all the advice. Rick Daniels, we'll all agree, he was amazing in the time we were there. Yeah. His knowledge and everything that he handed to us, to our disposal for learning, for experience, getting to do scoring for the main tour. We've still got pictures of me, Lee Goodall and Kev asleep behind one of the scoreboards offside one of the greens. It went with. Yeah,
that must be a normal thing for these two, because we went back a couple of years later, didn't we? And the exact same thing happened. Side of 17, Kevin Lee asleep for the whole day, and I'm sweating my bollocks off trying to get all the scoring done on my own. He still took the wages at the end of it as well.
Yeah. And then it was just all about wedge game and putting, which I'm pretty strong at. So was sort of confident going in, and then the 36 holes just end up. I shot 1 under in the morning, and then in the afternoon I was going quite well. I think I was 3 under or 2 under but I was 3 under, so I was 4 under for the 36 holes with 4 to play, and I've ended up hitting 2 really good tee shots on. I think it was 15 and 17, both in a bunker, and I made bogey. So I'm going up the last, and the leaderboard was on the last tee, and everyone was sort of 4 or 5 under for the 36 holes, and I was only 2. So I thought, that's it, that's my chance gone. Knocked it short in 2 on the last, and had like a 70-footer up the green. Didn't really think of that, and just went up to it and whacked it up, sort of stone dead, and tapped it in. And then I was sort of fuming going to the car with Mark, and I was like, oh no, that's the chance gone and all that. Let's get off. How long's the trip back and all this? And he's like, you know what? Let's go in and have a pint and whatever. Just sit and wait and see. He said, 'cause you never know, sort of thing. And then, little do you know, I end up getting in a playoff for it. So.
Oh my God! Imagine you'd left.
What's that? I know, yeah, that's the thing. That's what we said when we were coming home. Like, he was like, good job I was here, because otherwise you were jumping in the car and going. Yeah. But yeah, that was
How many pints did you have?
Well, he had a pint. I was like, he was like, oh, you can't have one. Here's an orange cordial. I was like, oh no.
We had, I don't know if be out next week, we had an interview with this David Shack lady, and he was saying he'd done the same thing, but he had like a few pints and then he come back out.
Did he?
Yeah. But then he ended up not having to do a playoff. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. Oh, that's good then. I know that would be a shocker, that, wouldn't it?
Imagine that,
half tipsy getting on the first tee.
Well, so you were in a playoff then after that?
Yeah, in a playoff with Ryan Fox and Rhys Davis. Who, like Ryan Fox, I don't know whether he's won on tour yet, but he's done really well, hasn't he? The last couple of years.
Yeah, he's established himself definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Rhys Davis as well, who I always used to watch. I think he won a Celtic Manor 1 year, didn't he? With that little bladed yes putter or whatever it is. Always used to watch him on the telly, and then on the first green, he's using the same putter. I'm like, bloody hell.
Mad that.
But yeah, no, ended up edging the first playoff hole, which was a bit lucky, but and then that got me in it. So
Danny, then, so obviously you started on the you played a bit in Portugal, and then I understand you've done a couple of seasons on the Euro Pro Tour. So just build that up for us. How did that go?
Yeah, so like I say, I did a bit in Portugal as a warm up to after turning pro to pre-Euro Pro qualifying, just to get ready for Euro Pro really. And fortunately, like I say, performed well at Euro Pro qualifying, because that's a big pressure sort of environment now. You've got like, I don't know, there was 250 out at the final stage, and there's only 70 or something going to make the cut. So there's 170, 180 players there who are going to have nothing to play in. Like, so you've got to be on it to give yourself a chance to schedule what you want to do for the season. That, unfortunately, like I say, I played well. And yeah, Euro Pro, I can't speak highly enough of it as a tour, really. It's not cheap for an entry fee.
You're the first one that's speaking highly, like.
Oh, really? I do think I understand people's frustrations with it, but I do think in terms of sort of, I guess now, kind of playing at that slightly higher level or whatever, and seeing all the media stuff, and you've kind of seen all that at Euro Pro. You've had cameras around you at Euro Pro and stuff like that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's getting you ready for the bigger events.
Exactly. Which is what they say they are. That's their aim, really. It is a development tour. You're not going to make maybe the top 10 on the order of merit make money at the end of the year. Maybe everybody else is probably in the hole, but if you can get off quickly, it kind of, I think it's good. It's a good development tour, and there's a really good standard of player on there now. So, like I say, I enjoyed it.
Well, how long were you actually on the Euro Pro Tour before you moved to the Challenge?
2018 and 2019, 2 seasons. So I think I finished 42nd on the order of merit first season, and then 27th or something, 28th. So slight improvement, and then just had a good run at Q School. I never got close to to graduating through the Euro Pro. But I've never really been a consistent for a season sort of guy. I'll have my good weeks, my bad weeks, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so then you've qualified through the European Tour Q School, was it?
Yeah.
Last year. So where did you finish and how did that go?
Yeah, so I had to start off at stage 1. So that was 4 rounds in France at a place called Hardlow. And I was with Big Sean, and Mark Hyde was caddying for Sean at that as well. And I had my brother caddying. So quite a good atmosphere, between us 4. But it's quite a tense place, really, Q School. But yeah, those 4 rounds, again, I played well. I think I finished 3rd. I was in a run of, I'd had 3 or 4 top 10s on Euro Pro to finish the Euro Pro season. I finished 3rd there, through to second stage, a place called Alenda in Spain, which was hit quite badly by some high winds. So it went into an extra day to get it finished. But again, I finished 3rd there. I played well. And at second stage, I really noticed you get a lot of good golfers, really. Guys dropping down from European Tour, from Challenge Tour, they come in at stage 2. So, but I was quite happy to finish 3rd there. Again, you needed to finish sort of top 20 to get through. And then I got to final stage the week after, and I did pretty good there. That was a really good experience. It was 4 rounds stage 1, 4 rounds stage 2, 6 rounds stage 3, so 14 in total. Yeah, it was.
And I thought you weren't a consistent for a while type of guy. That's probably more rounds I've played all season.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Kind of strung it along. I just got the ball roll. When it gets rolling, doesn't it? You get some momentum going.
Momentum's the one, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, massive. But yeah, so that 6 round final stage, I knew that if you miss the cut, so they do the cut after 4 rounds. I knew that if you miss the cut, you're back to Euro Pro. Even for all your efforts, you don't really get anything worth having on Challenge Tour. And the top, is it 70, made the cut, I think. And I was sort of about bang on 70th going into the 4th round. And I was like, you need a good round of golf here. Do you know what I mean? And but from the moment I stepped on the range to warm up, it was like, we're going to be all right today. Do you know what I mean? I felt good. It. And every shot I hit, it was just good. I was in control, and I think I shot 6 under that day to go from just about making the cut to actually I'm now in the top 25, and you need to finish top 25 to get a European Tour card. And it was like, right, well, actually, we could have a real good week here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's crazy the pressures though, isn't it? Because I imagine the mindset going into that 70, thinking if I don't have a good round here, I'm on the Euro Pro, which is tier 3. But if I do a good round, which you did, then the next day you're thinking I could be on the European Tour card. It's crazy the differences, isn't it?
The good thing I think for me was that it was my first experience at that stage. I was going into it with nothing to lose. I was playing Euro Pro anyway, so I had everything to gain. Whereas you kind of get the vibe from a lot of guys there who are on their way down. Do you know what I mean? They come off European Tour or whatever. They've not had the best of seasons. They're a bit more tense. It's a bit more, they need a good result to have their lifestyle they've had or whatever. You know what I mean?
I want to say that about lifestyle. I want on the European Tour, if they had a few good results, they might buy a bigger house, bigger car, think they're set, and next minute they're fighting for a Euro Pro car when the
Exactly. It's crazy. It's cruel. Literally, because the guy that finishes wherever 116th or whatever, you need to finish top 115 or whatever it is, race to Dubai. He's probably earned 300 grand for the year, but unlucky, mate. You're going to Challenge Tour next year unless you do. You know what I mean? So it's quite brutal.
That was like a typical round of golf. Didn't make many birdies. Didn't make many mistakes. All of a sudden, I was still making 3 birdies. That was it. But making a 7 or a double or losing a ball. All of a sudden, I was like, every first round, I was shooting 1 over, 1 and 2 over instead of 1, 2 under. So then the Friday was always trying to make the cut as opposed to pushing up the leaderboard. And it took me, I don't know, till June to change back to a tailor-made driver at the time, which wasn't the best driver for me, but it didn't go left. Might have been coincidence, but then I went and made 3 cuts in a row, and it was a little bit too late, really, but started playing quite nice again. So that was my bad, really. Changing equipment was a big mistake for me. I had a few off-course things as well, which the crazy thing was, I actually was using a Callaway driver at the beginning of the year, and I finished 5th in Dubai Desert Classic. And like, of all the events for me to do well in, that for me wasn't the event I'd do well in, like a birdie fest. And shot 7 under last round to finish tied 5th with like 7 people. So I ended up, it like watered down the cash to like, I got 50, I think. It should have been like 100. But that was a great start to the year. You know, I'd come out of the blocks and made the cut in Malaysia or something, made the cut in, I think, in the Middle East every time. I think did well in, obviously, the Classic. And then I missed 8 cuts in a row then, from then or something like that.
So with saying that, then obviously the purpose, like you said at the beginning, the purpose of these episodes is to give insight to young lads coming up, so hopefully they don't make the same mistakes. What advice would you give them, given that experience that you've had? Is it what's the one thing that sticks in your mind from that experience?
Well, straight away with equipment, if you've got something what works, like you need solid evidence that what you're changing to is better, like not just on a track, man, like on the golf course, like. And I don't think enough people actually have enough time, or maybe have the time, but not the right environment or the good enough equipment to actually test if it's the right thing for them. You know what I mean? Like, so if you've got a driver which is pretty, if you know what it does, if it has a one-sided miss, it's a winner. Like if it just goes right, it's a winner. If it goes both ways, you fucked. You know, you've got to stand on a tee. You've got to stand on a tee under pressure and know it won't go left.
Yeah.
Because if you're under pressure and there's an out of bounds left, you know it's not going there. Like 1 in 100 might. And that's for me straight away. Like you need a one-sided miss, and if your equipment works, like don't change it. Or if you're gonna change it, like test it over a period of time. Don't just like hit 10 shots and go, that feels nice, I'm gonna change it. Like for me, 100%. Like too many people, and I think on tour it's so hard to do that because. Like these reps are pushing you to use their clubs, and like they'll be on you like a rash. This is better. I can make this better. Let's try it. And you do try it. I was too nice to say go away, or like. And as a kid growing up, when you get nothing, you kind of feel like you're getting everything, don't you? And it's tough. But like you look at some of the best players, like people never heard of him. Some people, David Drysdale, like been on tour 20 years.
Yeah,
and he's used the same set of Callaway clubs for 10 years or something. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot in that for me. Like,
if it's not broke, don't fix it, innit?
100%. And like I was in Dubai testing. I'd booked a session with the TaylorMade guys in Dubai before the Middle East swing, and I must have had maybe an hour with one of the reps. And it's a half-hearted job, you know. Oh yeah, that driver's. Yeah, look at this, Chris. It's good. It's good. Yeah, take it away. And you take it. Justin Rose was there. He was 2 days doing it. You know what I mean? He's trying every shaft, every head, goes for lunch, comes back out, does it again, next day, does it again. Like, that's properly doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes away with the confidence that it's better.
And I'm working on, I don't know if you've seen I'm a Celebrity, I'm working on I'm a Celebrity sort of session where we do Bush Tucker trial type things, and we get away to make a start. Just little bits of fun like that. I mean, I love the sort of the funny and fun side of golf. I think we're too serious. Every golfer I've ever met is like, oh, this is such a serious sport. We should do it. No.
Yeah, you have fun with it.
That doesn't get people in. Let's play. Let's be pirates for the day. Like, come on, come to my session. I've got pirate hats and inflatables, and you know, let's go and pretend we're in Hawaii.
When's the next one of them?
Do you want to come down?
Yeah.
Which actually I had lots planned. So February was going to when we would start in all this, and we had a Christmas session that I couldn't actually run because of COVID, just gone. So I'm all prepared for next year. Don't worry, I'm now a year in advance. But we are going to be running everything hopefully in February, and then go from there. So you'll see everything that I will be running on like my social media and that. And we invite everyone.
Good stuff.
Free for all.
Yeah, definitely we will.
You might have to wear a wig though, because it's meant for ladies. So we'll see. You might have to. I've got a skirt you could borrow, but you might have to come down with a wig. Actually, I've got a few extensions you could clip in. I've got the whole set. You'd be fine.
Hey, look at that.
Oh!
It's prepared.
We got matching hair.
As if there was a wig on the side there and you just said that.
Whoa, I can't believe that. That's psychic. It's like we planned this. We actually didn't. I hope nobody thinks we
I know, yeah. It's all set up. Yeah, there's your cue, Kevin. Yeah, brilliant.